Television highlights of the news of yesteryear. Minister of Happiness, Will Rogers. Former circus and rodeo performer, then headliner in vaudeville, here's Will in 1921 hitting jackpot of show business in Ziegfeld Follies. Mixing rope tricks with Tom Mix, he drops a few wisecracks that are laughed at round the world. Now sage of international reputation, smiling and bringing happiness wherever he goes, in 1927, Will and family return from Europe. Then, in September of that same year, he joins America's brand new hero, Lindbergh, at rodeo in Mexico. An Oklahoman, it's been rumored that Will Rogers could ride before he could walk. At home on horseback, Will's equally at ease as motion picture star. Here he tells Carl Laemmle,
Laemmle, I was brought here to represent the male end of the moving picture business, see? But after getting here, I've switched. I'm going to represent the audiences, you know, who paid to see the pictures. At an affair like this, nobody ever represents the audience, you know? So I'm going to represent the audience, and we too, Uncle Carl, we love you too.
Always making friendly wisecracks about politicians, Will Rogers comes into political office himself. In 1926, proud citizens of Beverly Hills, California, make Will Rogers mayor of their town. With cowboy Mix and actor Douglas Fairbanks watching, Mayor Rogers is sworn in and then given key to city. Biting cowboy comments bring lots of laughter as Will makes his address. But I never met a man I didn't like, said Will one day, and he meant it. At political gatherings, Will's humorous remarks were also wise. At 1928 Jackson Day Dinner, he's star speaker. And in 1932, he introduces a candidate with these famous remarks.
Here tonight, Governor, you are not allowed to refer to politics. They won't let anyone talk politics in here because this stadium was dedicated to art, sports, and any useful enterprises. And we greet you here tonight, not as candidate Roosevelt, just as neighbor Roosevelt from the other side of the Rocky Mountains. Now, this introduction hasn't been very, well, you know, it hasn't been perhaps very learned or very flowery, but remember, you're only a candidate. Come back and see us as a president. I'll do right by you. Because I'm certainly wasting no oratory on a prospect.
On return from trips abroad, Will always gave his cowboy commentary to America's reporters. And in spite of his wife's constant objections and vague fears and forebodings of tragedy, Will loved to fly. And so with Wiley Post, friend and famed flyer, August 1935, Will tours Alaska by air. It's busman's holiday for Wiley, well-earned vacation for Will. But these are to be their last pictures, world's last look at them. Over fog-shrouded waters, soon after this, something goes wrong. Wiley Post is dead, and Will Rogers now lives only in man's memory.
In San Francisco, California, in early 1930s, Captain Vincent Richards demonstrates his inflated rubber suit for ocean travel sand ship. Self-propelled by means of kayak-type paddle, Richards makes bold claim he could cross Pacific in this outfit. Wonder if he next wears ship's commission or straitjacket. In late 1920s, as you can tell by a close hat and knee-length skirt of skipper's helper, forerunner of self-inflating life raft is unwrapped at Southampton, England. This seagoing saucer has to be inflated by hand pump, however. But look what's being added. Going down ways hand fashion, Southampton skiff slides across waters powered by outboard motor. Hats off to the inventor. And lady, how about doing same to yours?
Famous political first. In San Francisco, John Wong of Chinatown becomes first of his race to run for public office in America. It's August 13th, 1926, and Wong is hot after victory in primary election. His backers feel there's nothing wrong with Wong.
Here's Mary McCormack in 1921. Choir singer from Belleville, Arkansas, became protege of Mary Garden, made Metropolitan Opera debut as Michaela in Carmen. Year later, she won added fame in Italy with starring role in Cavalleria Rusticana. She shone here 10 years before her marriage into royalty.
Famed speed flyer, winner of Distinguished Flying Cross, and host of other awards, here's Alfred Joseph Williams, Jr., better known as Lieutenant Al Williams, U.S. Navy. Once pitcher for New York Giants, Williams was flyer in First World War, was admitted to bar in 1926. It's January 28, 1922, and District of Columbia's famed old Knickerbocker Theatre is in jumbled ruins. Following collapse without warning, only 4 walls of ancient structure still stand. Now the sky is its only roof. Workmen clearing scattered and crumbled wreckage must work with caution, for scores of theater patrons are caught in the ruins, and already 98 persons are dead of injuries. Old-fashioned steel braces could not sustain weakened structure. Here's where hundreds were panic-stricken as brick and mortar showered down upon them. It's black day for Washington, one of worst theater disasters in nation's history. Whole structure seemed to fold up in an instant, blocking all avenues of escape. It wasn't part of the show, but those sitting in the orchestra and boxes and balconies of the old Knickerbocker, January 28, 1922, and lived to tell about it, could never forget what they saw.
In the middle 1920s, when Lindbergh was still an obscure airmail pilot and automobiles use as much water as gas, lessons in dental care are added to regular grammar school curriculum. Importance of dental care is taken for granted now, but here it's something new. Surveying the results of a semester of brushing up, school dentist gives his okay to this youngster's work, so rest of class goes back to work to scrub for its exams. Because of all this to do in the middle 20s, in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, these are the most sparkling teeth in town.
On runway of Roosevelt Field, Long Island, September 10, 1929, stands first plane to display tricycle landing gear, newest thing in advance of aviation. Addition of third wheel made possible coming of giant passenger planes and bombers. Here's inventor George Fernick, ready to test his contribution to flying. Initial demonstration was huge success, and in the years to come, Fernick's idea was big aid to aviators everywhere.
Bowling before the war, First World War that is, in sack-like skirt and jumper-type blouse, ladies of pre-suffrage days were pretty good sports. But let's look at what they wore. You'd expect to find this pair in an alley, and I don't mean bowling alley. Now here's a look at their boyfriends. Hold still just 1 minute, please. Notice the high, stiff collars and the wide stripes on those shirts. Both clothes and game were striking affairs in those days. This is about 1915, and this bell-shaped skirt was worn by many a belle of the pre-war era. Enough of that. Let's have a general look at best-dressed bowlers of the time. In fancy dress and Gibson Girl hairdo, gay girls went bowling in the long ago.
The 1933 running of $50,000 Belmont Stakes. And they're off, with most money on the Garb and Utopia. But as horses head for first turn and race in the backstretch, it's Bet Apollo in the lead. Running a poor last is Hurryoff, but keep your eyes on him because he won't be last for long. As horses lean into curve of far turn, Hurryoff on outside is slowly moving up. Still a poor seventh, though, with Nimbus and Union now battling it out for first. Looks as if the favorites Utopia and the Garb will have to wait till next time. Coming into the straightaway of the home stretch, trailer Hurryoff is now fourth and moving up fast. Nimbus and Union are tiring from the pace, but Hurryoff is setting his own. He's third, then second. Now first and pulling for the wire in a thrilling win in the 65th running of the Belmont Stakes.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.